Hello my friends, I'm Rich Larson and I'm the IRC Tire Guy. Today we've got a great technique for increasing your level of control on a motorcycle. We're talking nose wheelie pivot turns. Nose wheelie pivot turns, or rear tire hops, are a commonly used trial technique. This is a great technique for your setup in tight areas as well as decreasing your overall turning radius. In hard enduro situations, this does play a key factor in downhill switchbacks and, I believe most importantly, increases your overall control of the machine. That to me is truly why it's important to learn this technique. I'll be honest, I've never actually used this technique in a race. To me, the point is less about applying this to my raced craft and more about my pursuit of complete control. Now, I do use a variation of this technique while racing hard enduro, which we have done a breakdown on, which you can check out right here. That's an almost more consistent, safer variation that I do recommend learning. That being said, I prefer to practice all variations in every direction. So let's get into it. Obviously, the first step is getting comfortable with nose wheelies or stoppies. At first, we're not going to focus on moving the rear tire from left to right. We first need to get comfortable with getting that rear tire off the ground in a straight line. I've found the best way to teach this is on a nice, open, slight downhill slant. This makes the rear end lift much easier. I also recommend using what's called a kicker rock. This is a small flat rock that can actually simulate suspension compression and rebound to assist your rear tire lift. Eventually, we'll be using our body to initiate this rebound assistance rather than the rock, but I've found using a rock helps you feel the timing of the suspension rebound and front brake. I use a pulse of the front brake timed with the suspension rebound, then a gentle drag of the front brake to maintain the rear end lift. Notice my body position as we initiate the rear tire lift. I approach in a centered attack position, then as the suspension compresses and rebounds off the rock, I move from centered to maximizing my hips back. As that maximization is happening, I push through my bars with strong arms, almost pressing towards the front tire. Start low with the rear tire and work your way higher and higher. Getting comfortable with the pressure of the front brake is required as we progress. After you're comfortable with your progression using a kicker rock, we now use our own body weight to initiate this rear tire lift. Extra compression with the body equals less effort with the front brake. When we take the rock away, it's the same approach, moving forward at a slow pace in a centered attack position. But now we time a driving of our weight down from our hips to our feet through our pegs. This initiates suspension compression and rebound similar to a kicker rock. Again, the front brake is timed with the rebound. The progression of your straight stoppies should be from downhill with a rock to then downhill using your own weight, and finally, stoppies on flat ground. Progressing and repeating the simple steps first will make the next steps much easier. Now that you're dialed with your nose wheelies, we add the movement of your rear tire from left to right. There are a few secrets to help you control the rear end with very little effort. The most important part of this technique first comes from the hips. Our hips are where we can most efficiently transfer our weight. The movement of our hips from left to right dictates the movement of the bike, not only during rear end hops, but really in any style of riding. Loose, unlocked hips are always required. Notice how my hips and bars almost move simultaneously in opposing directions. If I want the rear tire to go to the right, as the stoppie is being initiated, I turn my bars to the left and drive my hips slightly to the right. My hips are staying square with my bars. This helps me keep in a centered, balanced position. Same if the rear was to go to the left. As the rebound is initiated, I turn my bars to the right and my hips move to the left. Then the bike swings back under my body. An added tip to help find efficient movement with less energy is focus less on throwing your hips so hard that you lose your balance. Instead, add your feet into the equation. My hips only move off center slightly. To help assist the movement of the rear end, I pull and press with my feet, depending on the direction. If hopping my front tire to the right is required, my left or inside foot is squeezing or pulling into the frame of the machine. My right foot or outside foot is driving down onto the peg. Just like a turn on a motocross track, I weight my outside peg. This increases the speed in which the rear tire moves. It also increases my stability when the rear tire lands. Increasing the height on the stoppie will increase your ability to move the rear tire further. Work your way slowly through this progression. To me, this technique is a fun, effective way to break up your training and again, find complete control over your machine. I hope you use this progression and try something new that I'm sure you will benefit from. If you're enjoying the channel, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as follow us on Instagram at IRC Moto and my personal Instagram page at RichLarson511. And until next time, keep shredding.